All right, we're getting in more breaking inputs. In fact, this is with regards to the Liquorgate Saga and the money laundering case. The court, in fact, is going to consider the fresh charge sheet against Arvind Kejriwal and AAP Party, and the hearing is going to begin. It's a case where both Section 71 and 72 of the PMLA is to be invoked. Zoeb Hussain for the Enforcement Directorate will be in fact arguing and is already arguing in the court, and Hussain is saying that both Aam Aadmi Party and Arvind Kejriwal are linked to the Liquorgate case. Now Hussain now is going into the explanation of the entire section, but remember, it is the fresh charge sheet which will be up for consideration. Let's quickly go over to Ananya. Ananya, share the details.
Definitely, Mr. Zoeb Hussain is arguing with regards to the sections applicability of Section 70 of the Prevention of Money Laundering Act 2002, which basically includes, a company for the offence of money laundering. He relied upon, in fact, the RP Act, that is the Representation of the People Act, to define what a political party is, and then drew conjuncture with, in fact, the Section 70, Part 1 of, in fact, the Prevention of Money Laundering Act. Now, he's also referring to the High Court judgment with regards to the Arvind Kejriwal case, where, if you remember, the High Court had held that, applicability of Section 70 comes into play in this particular case where Aam Aadmi Party was a major beneficiary. And since Arvind Kejriwal is the national convener of the Aam Aadmi Party, there is a vicarious liability that is attached to, the Delhi Chief Minister. And that's exactly what Section 70 Part 2 actually goes on to say. And that's what Mr. Zoeb Hussain is currently arguing. Now, the consideration in this charge sheet has already begun by the Delhi's Rouse Avenue Court. And what would be interesting, Akansha, to see today is whether or not the Enforcement Directorate would be going into what was the Hawala route through which, the Aam Aadmi Party received, in fact, this particular money. And if you remember in the Supreme Court, when this hearing was going on with regards to Mr. Arvind Kejriwal, the Enforcement Directorate had made a strong claim that, it had recovered various chats with regards to Arvind Kejriwal contacting the Hawala dealers. So how would it play up, whether they would be reading those particular chats, whether that would be referred is something that we'll have to wait and watch for. But a big linkage being drawn between the Aam Aadmi Party and how it had received the funds and how it's liable for the Money Laundering Act is something that Mr. Zoeb Hussain is going into at this particular point of time. What happens next is something that we'll have to wait and watch for.
And Ananya, why it is so crucial, considering the important bit, of course, arises over here is that this is the first time that a sitting chief minister and a political party have been charge sheeted. Having said that, how many charge sheets have we seen in this entire case so far?
Well, definitely. We have seen one main and 7 supplementary charge sheets in this particular case. And this, is a charge sheet that would be going into the history of India's criminal jurisprudence, because it's the first time ever that a political party has been named for an offence of money laundering. It's the first time that a political party has been made an accused when it comes to the offence of money laundering, because it was said that it is one of the major beneficiaries of this whole Liquorgate scam, and very clearly and categorically today the consideration on this charge sheet is going on. Whether or not the court would take cognizance is something that we'll have to wait and watch for. But if the court takes cognizance, this charge sheet would definitely be going into the history of the India's criminal jurisprudence, because it's the first time when a particular political party has been charged with offences of money laundering. The consequences of the same would be that the assets of this particular party could actually be seized off, and not only that, the office bearer of this party can come under the scanner of the Enforcement Directorate and under the offence of money laundering as well.
Right, severe ramifications awaiting for the Aam Aadmi Party. All depends a lot on the hearing. Many thanks.